So many kings have risen and fallen in the history of mankind. Quite a number of them have left grand marks of their leadership and greatness. However, not all of them are remembered. One man who made his legacy nearly 2300 years ago is indeed called great. One who redefined history of warfare at his time, breaking the chains of border boundaries, met the battlefield for just 15 years, having lost none of his battles at his watch, sat on throne for only 12 years in total. A boy, heir, king, ruler, conqueror, and then emperor. Alexander the Great. Born to King Philip II and Queen Olympia around 356 BC in Pelagrais, was Alexander III of Macedon. His father, the great King Philip II, was one of the well-known rulers, expanding his kingdom across miles with his unremarkable war strategies. Being a rebellious child, the young prince had many teachers who failed to tolerate his aggressiveness. Soon, the great philosopher Aristotle became the teacher to the future emperor, not only to excel in philosophy and literature, but also to learn the crux of warfare. He always wanted to be a heroic warrior, especially inspired by Iliad and ancient literature. To the pleasure of history, nobody knew the Greek king will become the legend he aspired to be one day. It is said that after his death, people took parts of his body to be buried in their own land. The life of Alexander the Great is not just a part of history, but also inbound with lessons appropriate to people of all time. Age is never a measure. After King Philip II was assassinated by his very own bodyguard Pausanias, Alexander had to claim the throne at the age of 20. When compared to his father, a young king did not receive as much loyalty. Taking his age as a reason, rebellion forces emerged within the kingdom. Kings of small regions in the empire started to pull themselves out. Nobody wanted to believe him. But that was where history was created. To prove age is not a measure for success and talent, Alexander gathered his army, riding from Macedonia, fighting and winning everyone who stood in his way, proving himself no weak. At his early 20s, the ancient legend defeated Darius of Persia, achieving what his ancestors have been dying for all the years, conquering Persia. For a young warrior to meet and win a war with a great king like Darius, it was more than a glorious evidence to the fact of talents. Patience is key to success. When Alexander was 12, his father wanted to buy himself a horse and called in merchants from all over the kingdom. One of the horses was acting aggressive and no one could control it. As the crowd surrounded the scene, the boy who was seen as just an heir to the king stepped forward and monitored the horse's movement as it was scared of its own shadow. As a matter of patience, he walked to it, tried to turn it away from its shadow, coming down. Since then, Bucephalus became his main horse and accompanied him to most of his battles in the future. Alexander's patience was also clear with his war strategies. He took his own time to ultimately train his army to be loyal to him, even to sacrifice their lives for him. That sort of patience allowed him to build his personality and climb to success. Social awareness makes legends. Alexander injected Greek culture in all the regions he conquered. First, he thought his culture was the most valuable. In contrast, after traveling into Persia and some other places, the Macedonian legend confronted marvelous architecture in those areas, realizing they had a respectable culture of their own. So, he changed. When he entered Persia, he wore Persian attire. In the meantime, Alexander gave the freedom to people to follow their respective religions and beliefs. Once in history, when he was about 30, Alexander's army seized King Porus in northern India after a few attempts and losing thousands on their side. Instead of killing the Indian king, Alexander left his country in replacement of loyalty, respecting his remarkable bravery. So, it was this open-mindedness which brought his legacy up to the next level. The legendary Alexander the Great's death is still unsolved. Some believe he failed to survive malaria disease. Even before he died, he had strange wishes. He wanted a doctor by his dead body so that the world will know even a great king like him cannot survive death. As of how he ordered to pile up his jewels and diamonds in his way, he wanted to show he is not bringing any of his wealth with him. At last, the wish to outlay his hands from the coffin made clear that despite all the power he earned, he is still the same as an ordinary person, calling everyone equal. These are among the lessons we could interpret from Alexander the Great's life. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, share and subscribe the channel. We will return with more breathtaking facts with Quantum Vimana.